glitch. So I'm going to make sure we get connected right now to our Amazon live stream. And then we'll get started. Are y'all ready? All right, we're on the countdown. Okay, here we go. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's wonderful already to see some of you folks here. It's Saturday morning, so you could be doing something totally different, but I'm super glad and thrilled you're here. Good morning, Natasha. Look, I'm going to share with you all that it's been a little while since I've done an Amazon live stream. So it was my fault completely that I forgot something important. And this is going to be important for you if you're doing Amazon lives as well. You cannot go live at 1080p. You have to do 720p for the Amazon Live app. So, look, if you're watching wherever you're from, my name is Tanya Smith. I am the founder of Get Noticed with Video LLC and Stream Like a Boss TV. And this is my show, Stream Like a Boss Shop. So we're going to shop Saturday. And specifically, I want to talk about going live on the go on a budget. So that's what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about that topic. And I'll share with you a little bit of the reason why I came up with this particular theme. And I'll share with you some of my favorite gear from the Amazon store that I have set up. As a matter of fact, here, I'll pull up my store right now. You can see it on the screen right here, but you'll also notice that I am live directly on Amazon. So you can watch where you are. And we're going to experiment with something a little bit here with Restream, which I'm excited about. Eek. But we're also going to so we'll showcase the items in QR codes from here in Restream, but you can also watch on our Amazon store. So I'm going to share my screen so we can see that as well. I'm just going to share that for now. This is where we are broadcasting right here on Amazon Live. So you'll see my little video right here. So thank you for those of you who are watching from Amazon. I'm going to try to pay attention to comments in both places because one thing I haven't answered yet is, will Amazon, or not Amazon, but Restream actually show up my Amazon comments? I'm not really sure because this is our first time actually doing it in both of those spaces. So here we go. And I, again, am watching both. I'm actually watching 3 screens. So y'all say a little prayer for your sister right now because I want to try to manage it all. All right. So let's talk about the topic. So the topic is let's talk going live on the go on a budget. The reason why this came up is because I actually have one of my clients had a question. She said, I'm getting ready to go to be a host and a speaker on this panel. And what I want to know is when I go to this other city to do this event, I've been asked to also not just be a speaker on a panel, but also to interview people live using my my facilitation skills or whatever. So she had a question about what is the right gear and equipment? What are the things that she needs to consider in order to make sure that this thing goes off well, right? That's how this particular topic came to be. So one of the things that I shared with her is we needed to look at answering some questions because you can't just start going live or just head off to Chicago and you're in Dallas and not have a plan. Right? She needed to get some things together. So I gave her 4 things. There's 4 things that we touched on. One, we talked about considering the environment. So some questions I asked her were surrounding the idea of like, where is this space going to be? Is it inside of a big building? Like, What's the feel going to be like? Are there gonna be a lot of people moving around and walking around her as she's interviewing? Is she standing up and doing interviews? Is she sitting down? If she's sitting down, is it at a table? What's the table look like? Is there a space to enough space and depth for the table for her to be able to put her tripod? She had a little mini tripod that looks like this, which I'm going to share with you here on Amazon. But she had a tabletop tripod. And so she had thought through a few things. But as I started asking her and diving into some of the other questions, it made her think like, "Ooh, well, I don't know the answer to that." So, tip number 1 when you're thinking about traveling and you're trying to do a live stream on the go is where are you doing it from? Is it gonna be from a hotel room or is it gonna be from, like she's going to, this huge summit or conference space? Because if you're doing it in a conference space, there are things you have to consider, right? And she was only planning to use her phone. So, tip number 1 is consider your environment. Tip number 2, and I'm looking at my notes to make sure I can cover all of this for you in the 30 to 45 minutes that we'll be together. Um, Ask your host or facility manager, so whoever is managing the space where you're going to be, about things like internet speed. Like, are you going to have access to the internet in order to be able to do this live stream? What are some of the other things that you need to really think about in order for this live to go off well? Tip number 3 is figuring out your budget. Like, what's your budget going to be? Because if you don't have all the things you need right now, what do you need to budget in order to go and pick up new gear, for instance, from our Amazon store? Right? So I'm going to share with you some of the things after I got her answers, some of the things that I thought these would be really good items for you to pick up. Okay. The other thing and last thing besides figuring out your budget is have a backup plan. So we'll walk through those as I also share some of the gear with you that I want to share. So, one of the first things that we talked about is that tripod she had. So she purchased a tripod, and I'm going to show you. I think I might have an example of one that's ready to go. So let's pull that up. We talked about 3 things. We talked about having the visual, so your webcam ready, which is going to be her smartphone. We talked about having a place to stand it up. So when you think about tripods, I'm going to show you one that I recommended for her. And then the other thing you need to think about is lighting and sound, right? So I'm going to share, if I can find it, this little tripod here. So this is a tripod mount, and you actually are able to simply like scan it on your phone and you'll be able to pull it up. This is a tripod mount that is on um, Amazon for like 31 bucks, right? And what I'll try to do is see if I can also pull this up here. Yeah. The reason why I like this particular one, and I like actually Ulanzi is my favorite, but I don't think this is actually a Ulanzi. The reason why I like this particular type of tripod, if you're doing one for tabletop, is because it's really hardy, it's sturdy, and it's not one that's going to fall over, right? So the other thing you can do with it is hold it like this, so you can use it as kind of a selfie stick if you need to when you're walking around. But I like that it has this balance and it's hefty. You don't have to worry about your phone falling off. So Ulanzi is typically the product that I purchase, but this one, I think that I pulled up. I thought I was pulling up a Ulanzi. I still think that might be one. This one is a pretty decent one, and it will give you the ability to be able to, let's try to pull it up on our Amazon screen as well to make sure it's in both places. This one will give you the ability to be able to, yeah, it should be showing up. Mount your phone without worrying about it falling over, right? However, let me give you this caveat. So I'm telling you about the tabletop tripod, but then I need to say this. In the end, because she wasn't sure about the space on the table and she was waiting to hear back from the facilitator, but she had to travel within the next 24 to 48 hours, What I recommended is not to yeah, to take the tabletop tripod because that would be a great backup, but instead, the one that I really encouraged her to go and pick up is this one, and hopefully I have it set up because I ended up having to re-add everything after I messed up here just a minute ago. The reason why I gave her this long-standing one, and I'll show it to you. Here's what it looks like. Okay. I gave her this one instead, and I think I do need to add it back. So let's try to add that. The reason why I gave her this one, and I'll find it for you in just a second, is because it stands up at 64 inches. So if you don't have a table, because the tabletop has to sit on something, and she didn't know what it was going to be sitting on. That was the problem. Instead of her using that, I suggested, here we go. I found it. This one. So let me pull it up for you in just a second. It's a 64-inch selfie stick. It's super inexpensive. It's even under 30 bucks, y'all. So let me add this real quick here. We'll save it. There we go. This is the one. I'm going to show you mine because I like this one a lot. It's very flexible. As a matter of fact, I have it in 2 spaces. I keep one in the trunk of my car so that I always have it and I'm ready to go. And I also keep one at home and I just have it stood up and I want to show it to you. So I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit. Let's do classic version. And I'm testing this, y'all, for the first time on Restream to see if this works. So let me know if you have any trouble accessing the QR code. I would love to know. And you should be seeing links as well inside of your if you're on YouTube, you can definitely see the links. You might see them on Facebook as well. Okay, so this one, let me tell you a little bit about it and why I chose her. I recommended this one for her. A couple of things. One, it's super simple to port around. So it pretty much wraps up like an umbrella stand or like a mini portable umbrella. Okay. So you can fold it up and you can carry it around, put it in the trunk of your car. Like I said, I have 2 of them because they were only 25 bucks. Yay. Um, but also because it's 64 inches, it gives you a lot of different height options. So instead of her worrying about, oh my God, my tripod, my tabletop is not going to be enough because we're standing up, or I don't have anything to put it on, this literally can sit on the floor. So I'm going to show you how far this actually goes out. So see how you can see this is extended? It goes pretty far and it stands up on the floor. So check that out, right? So I could put my phone right there and have no issues at all recording. And if your question is, well, wait a minute, what if I need to do it sideways? Can I do it sideways? Can I do it vertical? You can do it either way. You can move it either way. In addition to that, one other thing that it has is it gives you the option, and let me make sure I pop this up too. One other thing that it does for you is it gives you the option of using their little remote. Because on the bottom of this thing, which I love, the bottom of this, on one of the legs, there's a little Bluetooth remote that you can connect to your phone. So it doesn't matter if you have an iPhone or if you have an iPhone or an Android phone, this is Bluetooth and it just pops off. Whoops. And so now, look, you have a little Bluetooth controller that you can use. So when you have your phone mounted, you can simply use this to turn on and off your phone recording. So I like that. Now, I honestly don't use these because I use my Apple Watch, right? My Apple Watch connects to my phone and you can easily turn on, you can use your remote control through that. So if you have Apple, you have that ability. Some Samsung phones, I understand, have that too, but I'm not familiar because I don't have any right now. Okay. And Xavier has a question in regards to a power chair, something for your power chair. You know what? That's a good idea to look into that, Xavier. Hey, what's up, cuz? I don't know right now for a fact, but I can tell you I will look into that because I know that there are actually some portable holders, some selfie stick tripods that wrap around. They have legs that can wrap. So if you have something on your chair that will allow you to either wrap or um, hold an arm, that's going to be your best bet. So give me a chance to do some research and I'll send you a note on that with some suggestions. Okay. Awesome. Julian. He corrected me. Okay. Yes. And look, Robin, the mic I'm using is actually a Shure mic. So I'll try to share that one with you too before we wrap here in a second. But let me get through this really quick list of things that I shared with my client. I told her, like I said, to use a tripod that's going to give you the ability to let it stand on the floor. And it will give you options in terms of height in case you do need to put it on a tabletop. Also, you want something that's going to be fairly sturdy, that's not going to keep you stressed out that, oh my God, my phone or my camera just fell. But that's tip number one. So, finding a tripod that is something like that is super inexpensive. It's under 30 bucks, y'all. So, when I talk about on the budget or on the go on a budget, that's one of the first items that I would suggest is something like that. The other thing that I mentioned to her, and this one is really important. So let me make sure I pop this one up for you so that you have it. This next thing I'm going to show you is a Comica wireless mic set. Now, this is something I have. Now, when I say it's on a budget, it's a little pricey, but I will tell you I use this all the time. And I actually have one right here that I'm going to share with you. This is the purpose. She said she was going to be interviewing someone else. So it's not just her talking. She's got a guest that's going to be sitting next to her, and they're in this space where there could be possible movement, and other sounds happening. So, what I wanted her to think about is having the best audio possible. Now, there's two specific audio options I'm going to share with you, but this one is the one I'm going to share first because it's the one I have, and I actually use this a lot. What she's doing is she's interviewing someone else. So I asked her, do you have a way to ensure that both your sound, your audio, and her audio are going to come through your phone? Since you're using your phone, how are you going to make that happen? So that was another light bulb moment. Oh, yeah, I was just planning on using my phone. Let's do a little bit better than that. And let's have a mic for each of you. So what we ended up doing is I gave her a suggestion for the mic that you see on screen. It's a Comica Boom XD. Now, what's cool about this one is this set comes with two. So there's one for you. You put one on your lapel, and usually I wear it backwards. So I clip it like right here on the inside of my shirt, like this, right? And yeah, I mean, it's not great, but hey, none of them are going to be perfect. It's still a little inconspicuous. You can kind of see it right there, right? Okay. So I like this because it comes with a kit of two. So there's one for you and one for the person you're interviewing, okay, on the go. And what it does is you basically take this receiver, this is the receiver, and you plug it into the bottom of your phone. So let me show you how this works. So basically, you're just going to plug it in the bottom here. Hopefully, you can see that. You plug it here, and then it picks up because it's connected by Bluetooth to both of the mics. So when you turn on each of the mics, then it has a little bar that will tell you, hey, I'm on and I'm working. I like these because, again, they give you just a little extra boost of quality and sound. And that way you have one and you're not having to sit there and go, okay, now your turn, you talk. You have one, and the other person is wearing one, and they both are feeding into the same audio line so that it comes out clearly on your phone recording and on your live stream. So That is what I like. Now, there's another option if you really truly want to use a nice mic. So, what I'm using right now is a Shure MV7. This is the cheaper version. There's a bigger version called the Shure SM7B. I need to make sure I know what I'm talking about there. Let me double check that. But there's another one. I don't care about it because I don't need it. Yeah, the Shure SM7B is the big boy. So for a lot of podcasters and serious live streamers, they use that one. I'm using the Shure MV7 because it was a little more in my price range at the time and because it worked. It was sufficient for what I needed. There's also the Shure MV7X. The difference between the two of those mics, and I'll try to pull this up so you'll have it. The difference between those two mics is that one is just an XLR and one has an XLR connection and a USB. If you don't know what that means, I won't spend a lot of time on that right now, but it's about the connection that goes into your computer, or if you're using something like what I have a Rodecaster Pro down here. If you're using an audio interface or switchboard of some kind that's pulling all your audio from different spaces into one spot, usually that's an XLR. If you don't have that at all and you're just using USB, then you would want to decide which of the Shure SM7 versions you or MV7 versions you need. So a little research would be required, but I'll find that one and pop that in here for you too. But that's not portable. Okay. So when we're talking about portable, the reason why I didn't have that on my list is because you don't take that with you. I'm not going to take this whole thing, undo it, and carry it with me to Chicago. Like, that's not going to happen. I know some people would, and they probably have carrying cases and all of that. But since this is my go to mic, I leave it where it is. But there is a Shure that I do have loaded up. This one is called the Shure MV88 portable, another one for iPhone. Notice both of the ones I shared with you are for iPhone. It's because I have an iPhone, but there are versions of these portable mics that are available for Android phones as well. So for those of you who are like, you're getting on my nerves because you're only talking about Apple products, it's just because I have Apple right now. Awesome. Okay. And thank you, Radiance by Raytelia. Yes, I can cover that on our normal show. I got to be careful because I'm actually doing an Amazon show, so I can't lead people off of the Amazon site. But I will capture that question so that I can make sure I answer that in this week's show. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. What else do we have? So the Shure MV88. So here's what I want to say about this. I do not have that mic. I don't have that mic, but because it's a Shure brand, I'm sure it's a great option for you and it's going to have good quality. The thing about the Shure MV88, and I'm going to try to pull it up. Let's see if we can pull it up on our Amazon store, and then I'll share a screen with you so you can see what people are saying. The thing about this is that it will give you an alternative. Now, it's a mic that connects to your phone. And I'm going to make an assumption, a huge assumption, that it will pick up both you and the guest that you're interviewing. I'm making a big assumption. I also noticed that there's a price difference. So if you see on screen $199, I'm going to show you one that is actually $129 and make sure that we have the right one pulled in. Let me share my screen with you. And the other thing I will do is I'll move that to compact. Okay. So here, this is not the right screen. Let's get you squared up here and make sure we're showing. There we go. Okay. This one, this is the one I wanted you to take a look at. So MV88 portable iOS microphone. This one is directly used with iPhones, iPads, iPods, because it has that lightning connector, just like the last couple of devices I mentioned to you. But let's look at ratings. So first of all, it looks like it has 5 stars, which is great. You'll see that there's several different video kits. I'm going to move this out of the way for just a second so you can see what I'm pointing at. Hold on. All right. So see right here? So there's several different versions of it that you can purchase. Frankly, you just wanna make that's what the difference is. So one is the MV88A, that's 129. The MV88 Plus is the one that you saw on screen. So I'm not sure of the difference, but we can kinda take a look and dive through that for a minute. When I look at the MV88 Plus, both of them have the same ratings. Let's look at some of the comments. Top-notch quality built mic. No go if you have a phone case. Let me say this, because this person made this comment about having a phone case. The thing is, if you have a phone case, y'all, think about it, okay? A lot of times your phone case, depending on the type you have, can be really bulky and it's going to get in the way anyway. So you do want to be thinking about taking your phone case off if it doesn't fit. Or for me, I really like to find the thinner phone cases so they don't take up so much space and room and I can add more stuff to my device. But most of the time what they're talking about when they're complaining about that is that there's something right here that's covering or that's too bulky and it's keeping you from making those additional connections. So you do want to pay attention to that. But if it gives you a problem, just take the case off. You can still use the item, the device, right? The gear, take the case off. So this person was complaining about it, but he said it's a superb microphone. So that's what we really care about is the audio. Most of the reviews that I'm seeing are saying, get this mic, it's high quality. This one person said the mic only works with a Motif app and only when the phone is in flight mode. Oh, so it's dropping out when he was doing a live. That's something we need to explore. So I'm going to have to kind of check with that. I didn't necessarily have that problem with my the other devices that I mentioned. Okay, this person is saying, has anyone used this to try and capture loud live performances? Live performances is the key. This person that answered said, yes, you can tape concerts with it. Okay, just adjust your recording level. So we'll have to explore and investigate that a little bit more with this particular one. But basically, what they're telling you is that the MV88 does turn your mic into or your phone into a video kit. I think it's worth a check and worth a try, and I'll come back after I run some more tests, but the thing is, you really could use one of the ones that I shared with you, or you could even try using and let me pop that back up here. You could try using a lavalier mic, and a lavalier mic will do pretty decent, right? My daughter, when she's an announcer for, UTD sports and athletics, and so when she is interviewing people on her live streams for Instagram and for other spots, she's using a simple lavalier mic. She was like, "Mom, I don't need expensive stuff. Just give me something cheap." So what she had is something like this. I'm going to pull this up. Now, there are cheaper and less expensive ones. So I'm not even sure I'm going to put this up on my screen, but this one I'm going to pull. Let me make it bigger for you. This one is a lavalier mic. And all you're gonna do is basically connect it to your shirt. When I wear lavaliers, I usually put them underneath my shirt and attach them to my undergarment so that they can't be seen. But for her, this has worked perfectly. And what she does do, she doesn't even mount it or connect it to her lapel. She just holds it and uses it sort of like a newscaster and puts it back and forth, right? So she does this thing, she does this. Right. So I don't think that's a bad idea. I just hadn't really I didn't think it was appropriate or it was the thing that I wanted to recommend for my client. I wanted her to have something that was a little better set up. But I'm giving you that as a potential option, and there are, like, $30 and under lapel mics. So if you go to my shop, you'll see some under let me see where they are. You'll see some in my store under audio options. I'm gonna try to find that page real quick for you. If you go to streamlikeaboss.shop and go to let's go back to the home page. If you go to best microphones for live streaming, you'll find that, or best audio for live stream is also an option where you can look through and see, find something that's within your price budget. Okay. Like I mentioned, and I want to remind you of the things that we talked about. For those of you who are coming in a little bit later, thank you for showing up. I'm going to pop up my Amazon and make sure I'm not missing any comments there. A couple of things. One, we're talking about live streaming on the go and on a budget. You could certainly, if you're like a true live streamer and this is what you do and you want it to be super pro quality, you're probably ignoring everything I'm saying because you're then going to want to have the pricier setup because this is part of your brand. This is what you do. But if you're a coach or a speaker who is just doing this on the side, like you're doing these quick live stream interviews while you're on the go, or you're doing it from your hotel room because you don't want to miss your consistency with your calendar, you don't necessarily need to spend $1,000 or more dollars on this. You literally can do some of the quick hitter things that I'm sharing with you as an idea, but you want to think about the 4 things I mentioned. So I'm going to pull my list back up. 1, you want to think about the environment, like where are you going to be doing this live? 2, you want to check with the facilities manager, whoever's hosting the event or is the manager of the facility where you're going to be doing this, and ask them about things like internet and sound quality and do they have gear? Because if they have stuff already in place, you may not have to pack a bunch of this stuff. You want to 3, figure out your budget and what you can afford to splurge on getting extra gear and devices. And then number 4, you want to have a backup plan. So let me talk about the backup plan real quick. We talked about, my client and I talked about the idea of her having the devices that I mentioned to you. So having the, she ended up, because I think she had an Android, she couldn't use the Comica. And that was this thing right here, right? She couldn't use this one. She ended up having to use, there was another one that I recommended to her, and it may be this one. So Hollyland Lark has an M1 wireless lavalier microphone. I'm going to pull it up to make sure this is not the one that is actually only for iPhone, because they have a version for both iPhone and for other phones that are Bluetooth connected. But I think she ended up having to go with a different version. And there's an even less expensive version. It's an $89 version. Let me see if I can find that one for you. That will connect with a Samsung phone if you need that. I just need to find it. So see, this, you can tell I haven't done an Amazon Live in a while because usually I would have these things stacked up and ready to go. But I'm also trying to juggle the QR codes and Restream and Amazon at the same time. So please give me a little grace. Let's see if we can find this. So she, if I can pull up Hollyland, let me try that. There we go. I'm going to pull it up on my, I'm going to do it on screen share. Oh yeah, this is perfect so that you can kind of see what this looks like too. So this is in my store as well. Okay, so the difference here, let me make sure it stays big because I want you to be able to see it. This here is a lapel mic. So I think there's a picture. Yeah. See how she has this right here? It's tiny. I did try this version of a lapel mic, and it comes with 2 in the box, which is nice. And it's under $100, which is also nice. And it has, look, it's got the pop filter and everything, or whatever they call these fluffy things right here, right, that help you to have better sound quality. I liked it, but it wasn't as great when they talked about noise reduction. I tested it and it wasn't as great at noise reduction as my Comica version. Comica is a little bit more of a popular brand. So I did like this as a potential option, and it may be one for you to look into, especially if you don't have an iPhone. Okay. And I think I have this in my store as well, but I will need to double check because the one that's pulling up for me and for you right now is not the right one. So if you go to my store, you should be able to see it in the store under audio. Okay. The one that we pulled up was this one, which is 199, and that is not the same. I'm not sure what the difference is, so I need to look into that. There's even a newer model. The C1 is called what it's called instead of the M1. The C1, we move that on out of the way, is only 119. But here's the difference. This one is only compatible with iPhone and iPad. So look, when you're shopping for these, when you're looking for these type of lavalier mics and lapel mics, you want to make sure you know what type of connector it has. Does it have a lightning connector? Do you need a lightning connector or do you need something else? Are you going to have an adapter that goes with it? Either way, I think those are the most cost efficient ways to go if you're looking to have improved quality and you're doing your live from your phone. Look and see which of the ones that you find are going to be the best fit for you and for the environment that you're going to be in. The last thing I'm going to pull up is going to be a kit. There's a couple of different kits. So some of you are like, well, do I need to go and buy these things piecemeal or can I just get like a vlogging kit and call it a day? There are definitely some kits that are available. I'm going to pull up one that I thought might be worth a look. I was going to pull up the Insta360, but I'm not going to pull that up for sake of time. Let me pull this Movo vlogging kit up. This one, again, specific for iPhone, but there are others that are in the store that are for other types of phone. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. Yes, I can. So you can see it in real time. And I'm going to open up my window with it. Okay, there we go. So let's make that a little, I'm going to blow it up for you in a second. But the deal is this thing comes with, and that's not sure why it's sharing the wrong screen. There we go. Okay. So this is the Movo iVlog 1 vlogging kit for iPhones. And notice a couple of things that it has. There's some stuff that I'm going to say, I would never use this. Okay. So to be honest, one, I probably would never use this little camera lens thing they have over there. What's the point? My camera works great without that. But what I do like is that it has a light with it and it also has a microphone with it. What I'm not sure about, because I do not have this kit, so let me say that up front, what I'm not sure about is whether or not that mic is going to be powerful enough. And again, you're going to have to think about your environment. So if you're in a hotel room and you're doing your live from your hotel room on the go, this is probably perfect. If you're doing it from a space, a larger space where you've got a lot of people, right? But you have kind of a quiet area that's been set aside for you to do your thing, your live, this could potentially work too. So you just basically, it's going to come with the stand itself. So you can see how it comes with a little tripod. It's also got this little extra accessory right here that you can use instead of the actual tripod stand so that you're able to hold it like a little selfie stick. It's got a case, which I like that idea. And it has a little remote, which I told you I never use those, but hey, it comes with the Bluetooth remote. And it also comes with an adapter, which you can't see because of my little QR code. But here, this little adapter that will help you connect to your iPhone. It looks like that's a lightning connector. So I kind of like having this kit idea as an option, the smartphone rig, because then you kind of have all in one. And if you're really looking to be on a budget, this could potentially be a fix for you. This could be an idea. But you got to consider, again, the things that we talked about, your environment and what's the sound quality and all of that. So don't wait until the last minute before your event. My suggestion on any of this stuff is give yourself enough time to get the items from Amazon and then also give yourself enough time to test them out. Like, test it out with another person. Have somebody in your house say, "Hey, hey." Oh, look, I know Dan got me live before your coffee. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, so Dan is sharing the Loom Cube products. I haven't looked at those, Dan, but I will do that. And then next time I go live, I would have tested more of this stuff out. I will tell you my real reason for going live. So, y'all look at this. Loom Cube products is something, first of all, so that y'all know, I trust Dan implicitly. Like, he's a person I would go to for any of this stuff. And you're welcome. The Real About Entrepreneurship. Now, what I don't know is if Loom Cube has stuff on Amazon. So, I got to be careful that I'm speaking about things that are in the Amazon space so I don't get booted off. But I will do some more research. My real reason for coming on live today is I wanted to experiment. I wanted to experiment with this idea of the QR codes in Restream. I wanted to see what it looked like connecting with this Restream app with Amazon Live, because it's been a long time since I've done that, especially since they've had the new QR codes. I hadn't done that before. And I wanted to also give you, if I could, some thoughts and ideas and advice about what you need to be thinking about when it comes to traveling and doing your live. So I guess the moral of the whole story today is whatever you're going to do, you need to think about and ask questions ahead of time about the environment. Like, where am I going to do this live? And how many people are going to be around? And is it going to be noisy and loud? And am I going to have a place where I can set my stuff up? Is it going to be, do I need to bring things that allow me, for instance, to set up on the floor, like the long selfie stick that I mentioned to you, this one that extends out? Or can I just go with something short? Do I need a Pivo, which we didn't even talk about the Pivo? I'll pop that link up real quick here, and I'll tell you what that's for. And that's going to be the last product that I'm going to showcase before I have to leave. The Pivo, my daughter actually has this. This is not mine. This is hers, but she doesn't use it. So I've kind of stolen it. What this does, let me show it to you properly. I'm going to move it over here. What the Pivo does is it allows you to pop your phone in, right? So you can put your phone on it and then it will move. Like, it's got a visual detector. So it will move as you're moving around. So that's another thing you need to think about is, are you planning to kind of walk around, walk back and forth? Are you doing some type of exercise videos? What are you doing that might require motion? Because if you're going to have motion, this might be a really good product for you to think about investing in or putting on your wish list. Because what happens is it Bluetooth connects to your phone, and then as you are moving around, it follows you. She does. Oh, and it also has a little handy remote, which is kind of cool. So you can do different things like zoom in, zoom out, that kind of thing. I have not really used this frequently because most of the time I'm sitting or standing at my setup, like one of the spaces in my studio. But I thought it would be cool to take with me the next time I do travel, because then I can get some really cool action shots. So Pivo might be a good idea for you too. I just wanted to make sure I brought that up. Let's see what else we got in here. Oh, thank you. So I'm actually using Restream Live today because I wanted to experiment with the QR codes, bro. So JP High Tech, that's my guy for a lot of things video. If you're looking for the media king, the JP High Tech is he. Thank you. I'm so glad. Slab is perfect to see why you did it. I'm so glad. Is that adaptable to landscape mode? I believe so, Dan, because I haven't used it frequently enough, but I've seen some videos because when I was going to play with it, you should be able to do it, yeah, this way. So landscape or portrait should work. The one thing I noticed about it is, see this little bottom, the thread here, whatever you connect it to, you gotta make sure it's on tight. So if you have a tripod that you're connecting this to so that it can move around, make sure it's on real tight because this is kinda heavy, and if you got a really cheapy tripod, one thing I noticed is that it kinda goes over like that, right? Instead of standing up straight, which is what you want. So you do wanna think about that. I'm gonna play with all of these things a little bit more, and I'll come back and do a more informed version of the live stream so that we can share. Yeah. Okay. That's the same as many you've seen. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'll come back and do one where I can really share with you, hey, here's been my experience with these, and here's the pros and cons. But today, I didn't want to not come on here and do my live simply because I don't know all the things. If you didn't learn anything else from me today, the one thing I hope you'll learn from me and all the live streams I do is that we don't wait for all the lights to be green before we pull out of the garage to go on our trip. I want you to think about that. I don't have to know all the things to go live. I need to know enough to share something of value to the people who are gonna be viewing and watching. And so, I hope I've shared something of value for you today that you can use and take away. All right, and let's see. Okay, awesome. So Dan did confirm that the Loom Cube, you can find them on Amazon. Thank you. I will make sure that I go do some research on the Loom Cube products because I am curious about those. If you think they're great, I want to know. Yes, 100%. We just gonna get out there and go. That's what we do. We do, and we learn as we stream. So that's awesome. Okay, and then Dan, I do not wake up looking like a movie star. That's the reason why the hat is on today. Again, we don't wait for all the lights to be green. We don't wait for us to have everything perfect. I wanted to come on here today to share something that I thought would be helpful. And I also wanted to make sure that I tested out some of this stuff so that for the next time, I can really be on point and on target and give you a really great informed informed show. Stop, Dan. He always throws me off a little bit, but in a fun way. Okay, that's it, y'all. That's all I got. I hope that you have enjoyed what you've learned today. I hope that we've shared something of value. If you need to look into any of the products that we've talked about, make sure that you go and check out my store, which is scrolling across the bottom of this screen. And then also, what I will do is I will um, try to go back into YouTube and chapter this. So I'll tag where different points in the video are in case you need to go and scan through and see, okay, where did she talk about this point? The other thing I'll do is do a recap video. So it'll be really short, probably like a 60-second video to give you some reminders of those tips that we walk through. If you want to watch us each and every week, I am around. I will not share the link because I can't do that on Amazon, but I'm around. Look me up. Find us at streamlikeaboss.shop, which you'll see at the very bottom. It's pointing directly to that Amazon store link. And if you've got questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Send me a message, DM me, let me know what you got on your mind, and we may turn it into another show. I'll have some more ideas for you next time. We'll talk about green screens. That was a really popular show that we did a while back. We'll talk about more tips for travel and live stream, but I probably will really be in my wheelhouse and talk more about some of the products that I'm using right here inside of my studio. Ooh, and what we can do is a review of my studio. Finally, a lot of people have been asking for that, and I'll share with you a lot of the different gear and things that I've purchased to put in this space, including what we call an over 50 fan. Fan for those of you who are like, I'm over 50 and these lights are burning a sister up. I got that. All right, y'all. Enough of me and my jokes. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend and enjoy your week. And I hope to see you sometime in the near future in the stream. We'll see you next time.